Good evening, class. Seth Davis here, and I'm getting ready to kind of talk to you about a informative speech on with the basis of Christian views and just kind of things that how we get a little bit of information television wise from the world, and the more that we kind of look at it and understand it, is how much of it can we validate. And, it kind of reminds me of that old game of telephone. One person tells one person something, we go on so forth with the next. And um, so looking at, our news television stations, and there used to be for the longest time from 1946, 1956, there were, four major free networks that we get our news out there. So it's much smaller. So maybe we wouldn't necessarily get as much covered. But obviously the world was a little bit smaller, and the information might have came in a little bit better. Now we're up to over 50 nationally. This is just looking at the United States level. But when it's coming to us, are we getting it from a Christian base? We all know that reading through the Bible is we're not supposed to judge anybody, and we're supposed to love our neighbor, and we're supposed to live our life, praising and worshiping, and looking for Jesus. And so by doing that, in this day and age, is anytime you turn on a news station, it's somebody judging someone, just going after another person, and just for their own type of agendas, whether it be in what goes on in our world and what is going on or what's going on in our country, of how people are treating one another, or even more so is the criticism of news commentators about one person or another. You can't turn on the news without hearing a political agenda of something, or somebody's trying to get back at somebody for something. And so with not having a great base and foundation, obviously there's the separation between church and state, but it's just how one another people are being treated, and how they are going after them for their own advancement in whatever it is there may be. And getting that from our news sources is, if that could be a great foundation of just how things were portrayed, the way that people are talked about, is very important with how it's delivered. Just like we're working on with our speeches, is how we say it, when we say it, why we're saying it. And so I think if that is better pushed, from our media outlets in a Christian worldview, how would that look? What would it be? Would we have the news? What type of news would it be if it's always positive talk, or things going in the right nature for the betterment of the world? And or do we see any reporting on that? Do we see any reporting on people going out there in the communities and in the world and promoting Jesus? Or is that too much of a political thing? Are we not allowed to talk about that type of stuff? And so, I feel if the foundation of that and what our media is pushing out, which is, we all use this type of stuff. We're always on our devices now. We're always watching TV. We've got everything in a quick, button of an app. And if the foundations of all of our news outlets and news sources and way that we got information, we're talking about loving each other and spreading the word of God, and being there for our neighbor instead of bashing them and throwing things through their windows, so on and so forth. It's always out there. Our world could obviously be a much better place, and I think if putting the Christian worldview out there could really, really, really help people open their eyes into what this world is really about. What agenda people are really looking forward to and portraying, and are things being spent? How do we legitimately fact check a lot of the stuff that we hear? It seems like I said, we're always looking for the worst in people and a lot of this stuff. So I think we could just have a much better world if people loved on each other and respected each other and pushed it out that way and praised that and seen that in our news and in our media and in the evidence of things that are going on out there. So thank you for tuning in.